Hello and welcome to Session 5 of Increasing Self-Esteem. My name is Paula and I'll be guiding you through the Increasing Self-Esteem CBT course. This course has been adapted from our Increasing Self-Esteem group run in the South Glasgow Wellbeing service. This week, we will be looking at how to increase self-esteem by developing a more balanced view of yourself. How to identify and acknowledge your good points and positive qualities. And how to accept compliments in a way that helps you build your self-esteem. Negative thinking and low self-esteem. Firstly, we will review what we have covered so far in relation to negative thinking and low self-esteem. We have looked at how biased and negative thinking can keep low self-esteem in place. Self-criticisms, along with ignoring your strengths and focusing more on what you see as weaknesses, also contribute to low self-esteem. Identifying your good points. If your self-esteem is low, it can be difficult to notice your good points and positive qualities. This does not mean you do not have any. It is more likely that you are just out of the habit of noticing them. In addition, negative thinking can mean you discount and downplay your strengths and good points. For example, receiving praise for a well done and thinking to yourself, anybody could have done that. Questions to help you identify your good points. We can help increase self-esteem by identifying our positive qualities. This is done by asking ourselves specific questions to develop a more balanced view of ourselves, by reflecting on past experiences and what others have said to us. You might find it helpful to write the questions and your answers on a notepad. If you find it really difficult to identify positives, you can ask someone to help you, someone you find supportive, like a close friend. Here are the questions to consider. What do you like about yourself? Look out for anything about yourself that you have ever felt able to appreciate. Include qualities that you do not possess 100% or that you do not show all of the time. Think of things that you do well, and it doesn't have to be things that you do perfect. What have you achieved in life, however small? This does not have to be a tremendous achievement, like winning an Olympic medal. Look at the things you have achieved, no matter how small. For example, learning to ride a bike, or to swim, to use a computer, or passing your driving test. These are only examples and can vary widely from person to person. What challenges have you faced in your life? What difficulties or problems have you had to deal with? What strengths and qualities helped you get through these things, regardless of the outcome? What skills have you acquired? What do you know how to do? Include work skills, people skills, domestic skills, cooking, baking, fixing cars, academic skills, sporting and leisure skills. The list can be endless. What do other people value in you? Think of someone who cares for you. How would they describe you? What do others thank you for and compliment you on? What do others give you praise for? You may notice you've not been paying much attention to these things, but now is the time to start noticing. If you feel comfortable doing so, asking someone else can be really helpful. Choose people you are close to and who are supportive of you. It can often be a pleasant surprise to hear what others value and see in us. What qualities do you have that you value in others? It may be easier to see other people's strong points. What do you value in others that you also have? For example, honesty or the ability to listen. It does not have to be to the same degree. What small positives are you discounting? You may feel you should only be looking at major positives, but ask yourself, would you discount small negatives in the same way? Think about all the small positives as well. Finally, if you've been really struggling to identify positives so far, ask yourself, what are the bad qualities that you don't have? Think of some typically bad qualities that you don't have. For example, irresponsible, cruel, dishonest. If you don't have that bad quality, you must be something else instead. What is that? For example, responsible, kind, honest. Don't discount the good qualities because you don't think you possess them to a great enough extent. Even the most responsible of people have likely behaved irresponsibly at some point. Noticing your positive qualities. Hopefully, you will have found answering the questions helpful and you are beginning to be a bit more aware of your positive qualities. But we don't want you to do this once and then forget about it. It can be helpful to think of it as trying to break an unhelpful habit. Try and get into the alternative habit of noticing positives and strengths on a regular basis and in day-to-day situations. You can keep these in a diary or a notepad. Start by looking out for things each day. Make a note of what you did and what positive quality you feel that this relates to. Examples are things like saying thank you to the person that served you in the shop. This might show that you were polite and considerate of others. Another example might be taking an online class despite feeling apprehensive about it. This might show that you are resilient, open to trying new things, and care about looking after your mental health. Accepting compliments. Another area to consider in noticing positives is how we deal with compliments. Can you think of the last time someone paid you a compliment? How did you react? Often we can react in a non-assertive way, sometimes due to feelings of embarrassment or disbelief. We have previously looked at how we communicate with others in session 4 when we covered assertiveness. To illustrate this point, let's imagine someone has complimented you on something you're wearing. A passive response would be to ignore, dismiss, or minimize the compliment. For example, what, this old thing? It's nothing special. The consequence of this is that you or the person delivering the compliment might feel awkward or embarrassed. An aggressive response would be to disagree with the other person or to be sarcastic towards them. For example, no, it's not. I look terrible. Like the passive response, both parties might feel awkward, or the person delivering the compliment might feel confused and be reluctant to give you a compliment again. Think about how aggressive and passive responses might impact on your vicious cycle. An assertive response, on the other hand, would be to accept the compliment simply by saying thank you. The other person will unlikely feel awkward, and the interaction allows both of you to feel good. You for accepting something nice that has been said about you, and the other person for being able to provide some positive feedback. Some unhelpful thoughts. Negative and biased thoughts can be quite stubborn and can get in the way of you accepting compliments. It's common to have some thoughts like, they don't really mean it. They want something. If I accept this, it means I'm big-headed. This is not an exhaustive list, and your thoughts may be different. Pay attention to what goes through your mind when you receive a compliment, or even recalling a time from the past. Challenges to unhelpful thoughts. We would recommend that you challenge these thoughts in a similar fashion to the way we challenged thoughts in session 2. Alternative and balanced responses to receiving a compliment could be, they might be genuine and mean it. Maybe if I start to believe some compliments, I might not feel so bad about myself. Also, people give compliments for many different reasons. Challenge this by asking yourself, is it so bad that somebody would pay me a compliment just to be nice? Don't waste time wondering why. Try to appreciate the fact that someone said something nice to you. Practice responding in a less self-defeating way. Being able to accept compliments is a skill which can help build relationships and increase your self-esteem in the long run. At times, negative and unhelpful thinking can get in the way of this, or we may feel awkward when somebody gives us a direct compliment. Some of the techniques below can help with accepting compliments in an assertive manner. Look at the other person. Listen to what they are saying. Try not to interrupt or change the subject. Smile and say something that shows you appreciate what has been said. If you feel awkward, a simple thank you is often all you need to say. You could, however, use the compliment to further the conversation. Someone says to you, "That's a nice top you were wearing." You could reply, "Thank you, I got it online. It's amazing what you can find on there." Practice acceptance. Challenge negative self criticisms that get in the way. We have now come to the end of session 5. We hope that you have found this session helpful. Thank you for taking part. Session 6 is next, and in this we will cover developing a staying well plan to maintain healthy self esteem.